My name's Matthew Cook.
And I'm Mark Ruffalo. Bernie Sanders comes to us in a moment of a crisis of credibility in the American political system.
According to Gallup, less than 20% of the country trusts our government to do what's right most of the time. Rasmussen reports only 11% of likely U.S. voters think Congress is doing a good job. And what's our response to that? The citizens of the greatest democracy on earth. We check out. Only about 50% of the country votes in our presidential election. Even less vote in the midterms. Compared to other democracies around the world, that is a terrible turnout. What's happened to us?
I think people feel like they've given up on the system, and that's exactly what the bad guys want us to do. They want us to give up on the system.
And it is astounding to me from a moral perspective that folks stay up nights figuring out how they can give more tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires and large corporations, and then come back and try to cut food stamps for families who are hungry, for kids who are hungry.
There's just no justice. There's nothing that means anything. You know, it doesn't mean it. You break the law, it doesn't mean anything. You hurt people, it doesn't mean anything. You steal from people, it doesn't mean anything.
I always thought, man, I wish a politician would say, I'm going to bring ExxonMobil to justice for paying millions of dollars for propaganda to lie about the environment.
There is evidence that suggests that way back in the 1970s, Exxon's scientists did studies and told the leadership of Exxon that climate change was real and potentially very, very dangerous.
He's saying, yeah, that's
wrong. When you finally hear someone who says, no, that's illegal, it does mean something, and I'm going to make sure it means something, then you have a champion.
What this campaign is about is saying loudly and clearly, it is not just about electing Bernie Sanders for president. It is about creating a grassroots political movement in this country.
There's never been a time in recent history where a presidential candidate has had more enthusiasm amongst young people, showing up and donating in unprecedented numbers. This is the promise of democracy, that we can have justice and equality.
It is time to break up the largest financial institutions in this country.
We can have a government that serves the people, but it takes more than one person demanding it. It takes more than 50%. It takes as many as are able, and that's what this political revolution is all about. Not me, us. Bernie Sanders' campaign has sparked a fire.
I believed it in my whole life, that we are in this together, not words. The truth is, at some level, when you hurt, when your children hurt, I hurt. I hurt. And when my kids hurt, you hurt.
That's the direction our culture and the generations coming up behind us are headed.
To this new kind of decentralized movement where we don't burn out. You don't have to carry the load all the time. I don't have to carry the load all the time. My brothers and sisters don't have to carry the load all the time. Sometimes you carry, sometimes I carry. We carry all together. And that's how we make change today.
I believe that what human nature is about is that everybody in this room impacts everybody else in all kinds of ways that we can't even understand. It's beyond intellect. It's a spiritual, emotional thing.
And what I think of it is a ReLoveLution instead of evolution. It's really based in a kind of love. This is the future of the Democratic Party. We want to take care of each other.